Hello and welcome back to the channel. We are getting started on processing all of the beef bones that we were gifted. So I'm gonna go put this in the oven. I have another tray already in the oven, and once they're done, then we will put them in the pressure canners and get them cooking so we can make some nice beef broth. Okay, I think the first round of bones are ready. So we're gonna get these in their pots and then add a new round of bones to start roasting. Ooh, God. So from that first trash bag of bones I had, whatever I couldn't fit on these pans, which was just like small pieces, I just added to the pots. So it'll be a mix of roasted and unroasted bones. Okay, I have my second round of bones ready to get roasted. And some of these are huge. Okay, leave that. Those are going. We're good. So I want to set this up because I want to boil down the broth that I'm making, and I really don't want to do that inside. And we have had this since before we moved to Alaska. It was on sale when we were down in Phoenix, so we bought it and we brought it up with us, and we have never opened it. That's disgusting. There we go. Okay, I brought out my third pressure canner just so I can put these bones somewhere so they're not sitting in the oven. Now it's not ideal. I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to fill this up with water and I'm going to get this on a burner here. It's not going to fit totally, but it should be fine enough to start pressure cooking it. Okay. I had to tighten this because it was way too loose. So now, scratch that. Okay, so I've had this going outside, and this is just like extra fat cuttings I found in the bone bags that I added in here with water. So it's just been boiling down since yesterday. So there's a ton of fat on these. So I'm going to take all this off. Dump this into here. So I went ahead and dumped 2 canners worth of bones in here, and that's all 3 canners of broth. So the last canner still has bones in it, but I still have bones in the freezer that also need to be pressure cooked. So I'm gonna let these bones continue to simmer in this pot out here. I'm gonna take the bones from the freezer and put them in the pressure canner, and I'm gonna cook those, and then I'm gonna do another round on the other bones that's left. So I'll have 2 canners going inside while this is simmering down outside. I think that'll be good. Okay, we're gonna start straining the fat that I had going because I think it's fine now. I think it's good. You can see there's a good amount of fat on top of this one too. So once this simmers down and it turns into broth, we'll strain it again, and then I'm gonna let the fat solidify and take that off and then render it with all the other fat. Okay, it's the next day, and we went to the Homesteading Expo this morning, so I need to strain all this out, but there is a lot of fat as well. So I'm going to take the fat cap off and I'm gonna put it in this bowl to be rendered with the rest of it, and then the rest of the broth I'm just going to strain, which it's very jelly, so I might actually have to heat this up before I strain it, which is good. That means the broth was made correctly. What I might do actually is I might just heat this all up and then strain it that way, and then let the fat cap solidify on the top. Take it off? I'm not sure, but look at that. That looks so good. And I'm okay with some fat on the broth. Typically I don't take the fat cap off, but I'm doing it this time because there was so much. So I might just render this actually as a second batch separately from the other big batch. I think that'll be easier instead of trying to pick all this stuff off. Now this other one is not gelatinous. It's thick for sure, but it's not gelatinous, so this one, at least I can strain. Also, a good sign of some good broth is how easily these bones are breaking apart. So this is all the fat that I pulled off of the 2 pots with the bone broth. And the bone broth is on the stovetop right now, so I can strain it into 1 pot. And this already has water and salt added to it, so I'm gonna get this heated up and all melted down, and then we will start the rendering process on this. But I also need to separate this fat from the water that's in there and possibly do a second render. So I'm gonna put this one aside, and then we'll get started on pulling this fat into this bowl. Gosh dang. I know, crazy too that the Jeff Maddox had talked about giving tallow to your animals as their fat.
Yeah.
Tallow and lard. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
got lots of that. So this is definitely going to need a second render, which is fine. Gonna put that aside. I want to show you guys what's in the bottom of this pot. So this is more gelatinous good stuff. So I'm going to strain all of the bone broth actually directly into here so I can save all of this, because that's just pure delicious goodness. So I ended up just combining all of the fat to make it easier. So this definitely is going to need another render. It's very soft, and I know that there's going to be impurities on the bottom because there were also chunks of meat. Finally, time to fill all of these jars. They have been washed. There's some like fat just from them being in the kitchen, but that's fine. I'm not worried about it. And this has already been strained, but I'm also going to strain it as I pour it into the jars. I also want to say that you can get a much clearer broth if you don't boil the broth and instead you simmer it down. I just don't have the patience for that, and I don't really care if my broth is clear or cloudy. It tastes the same and it's delicious and good for you. And a lot of the times I don't even boil down my broth because I'm usually not making bone broth. I'm usually making some kind of broth with the bones, but also meat and vegetables. So I generally don't boil it down to get the proper bone broth consistency and that nice jiggle. And we got there when this was in the pot, but because I combined two pots, I'm not sure if this will have that same jiggle once they're cooled down, because I combined the two and then I did not boil it down very much more than it already was. I just did it enough so I could fit both pots into this 138 quart stock pot. So we'll see once these are cooled if they coagulate like a bone broth, but even if they don't, that doesn't mean it's not bone broth. It is still bone broth. It's just not severely simmered down to the point that you get that jello-y consistency. And we're just going to fill these to 1-inch headspace. Roughly, I don't measure, I eyeball it. Now we're just going to clean the rims with vinegar to remove any food residue. You can use water. I know a lot of people do. Some people even say that vinegar breaks down the rubber seals on the lids. However, I've also seen things disproving that, so it's really up to your own discretion on whether or not you want to use vinegar or water or whatever your grandmother did. Whatever you need to do to get the rims clean is fine. Now, as you can see, some of these lids I am reusing. I only reuse ones that look really good, so they have to be in great condition, but I am comfortable reusing them, so do whatever you are comfortable with in your home. And now these are ready to go in the pressure canner, and quart jars of broth go for 25 minutes. So that is it for this week's video. We got all of the broth made and canned, so now it can just go on the shelf. I have some over here that I'm going to be putting in the freezer instead because I had some issues with new lids not sealing, and instead of processing them again, I decided to just go ahead and freeze them. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next week.